Good morning, good afternoon, good night. It is Thursday, July 9th. Thursday, July 9th, 2026. I'm 27 years old. It's me, Jordan. Hello. This morning I woke up thinking about being cringe. And I was like, I need to process this because recently I feel like I've been doing a little bit of exposure therapy. Just like dipping my toe into putting myself in somewhat uncomfortable scenarios by recording myself talking about things and sharing it. And I feel excited to do so. And I've been enjoying doing this because it's like a practice for me in formulating my thoughts and practicing speaking in a controlled and safe environment. Now, it's going to be a different story when I go out in public and speak to people. That's like a whole different thing. I sometimes still get a little bit nervous speaking to people. It depends on the situation. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm pretty relaxed. Like in a grocery store, I'm talking to someone that works there or what have you. It depends on the day. Sometimes I'm a little bit more nervous and shy, and so I'm trying to combat that. And even in a safe and controlled environment, like I'm filming and recording this in my own room, which is safe and controlled. And I have been sharing these videos onto YouTube, and I'm sharing the audios on Patreon, and that feels like I'm just kind of putting myself out there in a way that I haven't been recently in recent years. And in a way that feels like I'm exposing bits and pieces of myself, and it feels a little bit vulnerable. Not gonna lie. And something I've been thinking about with all of this is being cringy and being embarrassed about not myself necessarily, but things that I've written in the past or that I've shared online or that I've created in the past. That could even be something I've never shared before publicly. I have an art notebook in front of me, like a sketchbook. And to be honest, I'm not a prolific drawer, artist, sketcher, like painter. But I've always had a sketchbook. My mother is a painter, an artist. She's really good. I love everything that she's ever created. And for years and years, I've always been drawn to drawing and sketching, but to be honest, there's some cringy things. Like I look back on some of what I've created, whether that's art or something that I've written in my journal that no one has ever seen, or it can be things that people have seen on the internet. And looking back, I'm like, oh, that's a little cringy, or like, oh, I'm like a little bit embarrassed by that. And that has then made me think like, why am I embarrassed about this thing? Because recently I have been setting up, I've been going through some of my stuff recently, like some things that I've written that I posted on Substack, some things that I've created before, older like YouTube videos that I created. I was kind of just like older YouTube videos that I created and then privated because I was like, oh, this is just like, why did I post this? But I have since publicized again and made it public because I'm just like, I want to let every version of myself exist. And even if some people think it's a little cringy, or even if I look back and I'm like, oh, that's a little bit cringy, I'm like, at that point in time, that's who I was, or that was part of who I was, and that's what I thought, and that's the way I saw things, and that's what I wanted to talk about at that time, or that's what I wanted to create at that time. That's what I wanted to write at that time. And just allowing me the space to grow, and also allowing that past version of myself to exist and to not be cringed, to not be cringed out by her. Because I don't know, I think about, let me think about this in a more, in more particular terms. I had posted something that I wrote, or actually I had posted a YouTube video. It was a video of me talking. It's now up again because I had privated it in a moment of like, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't want to do this and whatever. And then I put it back up recently because I was like, I just want to let this exist. And this is how I felt at that time. But I kind of, I didn't revisit the actual video. I didn't watch it again, but I read through some of what I'd written in the description. And I was just like, oh, like I got a little bit of that cringe feeling of like, man, I don't know. It wasn't that it was super poorly written or anything. It was just the way that I wrote about this certain topic. And I was like, oh, like I had that cringy feeling. Just being like, girl, like, why? You're so cringe. And then I was like, wait, why am I feeling that way? And I kind of stopped myself in my tracks because I was like, you know, this was only a couple years ago, maybe. When did I even post that? Actually, let me look because I don't even think it was that long ago. It wasn't even that long ago. I think it was last year. And I'm still like so close to that girl. I posted this. Yeah. It wasn't that long ago, but I felt like a different person then. It was late last year, but I felt like a different person then. And I feel like I've grown even since then. But I'm still so close to that. I'm still so close, literally in timeline. Like I'm so close to that woman, that young woman, that girl from like, what, 7, 8, 9 months ago. It wasn't even a full year ago. I'm like, I'm still so close to that girl, but I feel distant from her somehow. And it's easy in retrospect to look back and be like, oh, like, I was so cringy. Or why did I say it like that? Or why did I write that down like that? And I think part of that's just me being a little harsh on myself. I think, as the saying goes, we are all our worst critics, and I think we can be a little harsh on ourselves, especially the creative types and the artists of the world. I know some people are better about this than others, but I think that when you create anything, even if it's just a little piece of writing or you draw something or you create like a whole podcast or whatever medium it is, when you create something, you feel tied to it in a way and you feel, I mean, you care about it, even if only on some level. And it's easy to, I don't know, maybe tie your worth and yourself and your personality to that thing. Like going back to that video, that thing that I wrote that was accompanying it, like in the description, I was reading it and I was just like, man, like that's kind of cringe. And then I was thinking that I was kind of cringe as a result. Like I feel like I was kind of tied to that thing. And we all can be pretty harsh on ourselves. I mean, I think about my mother who has painted some really beautiful things, genuinely, like not just because I'm her daughter, but I love some of the things that she's painted. And she's always been hard on herself, being like, oh, this could be better though. Or like, oh, but like, look at this thing. Like you're always going to nitpick because you're close to the material and you sometimes even feel like it's a reflection of you, which I think is the dangerous thing because we are ever evolving beings and we grow and mature even more. We deepen, and to tie ourselves permanently to a certain version of ourselves, or a past version of ourselves, a past thing that we created that kind of keeps us, what's the phrase, in it, like pigeonholed. It kind of keeps us just like stuck, fixed in that version of ourselves, instead of allowing ourselves to grow and change. Like, I'm still me, okay? Take it or leave it. I'm like, some people in this world may think that I'm cringe or weird or a little bit different. Some people may think I'm just very normal. That, everyone has an opinion. Sure, whatever. Some people may like me and get on with me, and some people may not. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. That's the way that this thing goes. Excuse me. I just swallowed, and I hope that did not pick up on the audio. I'm trying to figure out when to like pull the microphone away. I'm so sorry. Oh man. Actually, I'm going to take a little espresso break. Espresso break for anyone who needs it. Take a sip of your espresso or your coffee or your tea or water or something. Just take a break for a second. Reset, take a breather. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I feel like I have to reset myself after that, because that just that like threw me off the horse just a little bit. Getting back on track. I am not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and some people might think that I'm cringe or embarrassing if they come across me talking about this, if they meet me in the street, if they meet me at the store, like. But something I was thinking about is, number one, God made me how I am, who I am. He made my voice to sound the way it does. He made my mind to work the way it does, my face to look the way it does. And I have to, like, when you look at the word and what it says that man and woman, we're made in the image and likeness of God, and we're fearfully and wonderfully made, each and every one of us. And I have to hold on to that in those moments where I kind of want to think like, oh, that's so cringe, or why was I so cringy then, or why was I like that? I'm like, you know what? When I was at my most cringiest in my life, which I think we can all agree, if there was ever a time that we were the most cringy, it would probably be when we were like a preteen, like 12 years old or 13 or somewhere in that age range. You know what I mean? Like that time, it's just kind of awkward. You're developing, you're in a weird place. Even when I was at my most cringy phase of my life, when I was in that weird age range, I know that God looked at me and thought I was the most beautiful thing. Even though I felt awkward and weird and I had acne and I was just like just beginning to like grow into myself, he was like, that's my girl right there and she's beautiful. And I have to keep that in mind every time these thoughts come up of like, oh, I just feel like I'm cringy or I'm embarrassed by this thing. It's like, what does God say about you? That's always something worth considering. What does God have to say about you? And that kind of just, that resets me. That resets me for sure. So that's the first thing. But then the other thing too, you have to keep in mind is people expose themselves when they treat you a certain way or when they think certain things about you. They're exposing their own insecurities by doing that. Like, it's so easy to clock people. I have discovered this myself because I'm like, you know what? I'm sure people out there easily clock me and some of my own insecurities by some of the things that I say about myself or some of the things that I've said about other people, some of the comments that I've made about other people. You can easily spot people's own insecurities and the cracks in their foundation by the way they speak about people behind their back, by the way they treat people, even to their face, but especially the way people will talk about strangers or people they barely know. It's so easy to do, but like, man, you just very easily expose yourself. It's almost like you're holding up a mirror to yourself. Like you making a comment about this person, it's just you showing a reflection of yourself. It's showing and reflecting how you really feel about you when you make certain comments about people or whatever it is, whether you're treating someone a certain way, or I think it really shines when you make a comment about someone behind their back. Not necessarily to be mean, but it could be just like a very simple offhanded comment about a certain thing, and then you kind of expose like your own insecurities by doing that. Or it could be making a comment about a stranger that you don't even know, or it's just, we're so easily read. We're so easily like, I don't know. It's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I see this stuff everywhere now. I see it in myself. I will admit, if I say certain things, I'm like, like if someone's paying attention, if anyone's paying attention to the words you're saying and the way you're looking at certain people, or the way you're behaving, if someone is paying attention in the room, they're going to see every one of your insecurities coming to the surface. But you just have to pay attention to it. And once you pay attention to it, you can't not pay attention to it. So I see this stuff everywhere, and I see it in myself too. I make certain comments or I do certain things, and I'm like, if anyone else was paying attention, they could totally see how that traces back to me and how I feel about me right now. I do still have my sketchbook in front of me, and I have drawn some things that I thought were cute. But I've drawn some weird things that I don't like. Sometimes things that I've drawn look like a 5-year-old drew it, and I'm 27, keep in mind. So this is a prime example of like, it's easy to look back and be like, oh, that's so cringe, but like, at least I was doing something. At least I was trying to make something with my hands and with this piece of paper. At least I was trying, to replicate the way this plant looked. I mean, I'll show you. This isn't very good. But this is a plant in my boyfriend's apartment. And I was trying to recreate it. I'm not the best at recreating real life things. I've excelled at trying to recreate other people's drawings because I can kind of see how they did what they did. These were a few little drawings that I did that I was actually really proud of, but I basically found these sketches. I found these sketches on Pinterest, and then I kind of just recreated them, but it's like a flower and a little candle and a little like bottle of like potion or something. I don't know. I thought it was cute. So I don't know. An art like sketchbook, this is a prime example of like, sometimes you're going to be proud of things that you've created. Sometimes you're going to be proud of yourself. Sometimes you might be embarrassed by something you've created or be cringed out by it. But it doesn't have to say anything about you. I think if anything, when I look at this sketchbook, it shows that I have tried. Even if something turns out really, really bad, in my opinion, it turns out really bad. I at least tried to make something with my hands, and that ought to count for something. I want to sketch more. I want to draw more. Because that's the only way you really get good at something, is by doing it repeatedly, putting your reps in, getting stronger, practicing over and over again. So yeah, but also it's like, that's the thing. You get better and better at things the more you do it. You get more experience, so you get stronger. I have become a better writer as I have written over the years. I've become a better speaker as I've put myself in situations to speak to people and, excuse me. But I don't want to look back at past versions of myself when I was just trying and be like, oh, she was so cringy. That's so embarrassing. Like, she was trying and she was doing the thing and getting stronger at whatever it was. She was putting in her reps with drawing in her sketchbook. She was painting. She was writing, and maybe it wasn't great, but she was writing anyway. And she was making these little videos and posting them on YouTube. And she was talking to people. It's like she was doing all these things. And even if it felt hard for her in the moment, or if I look back and think it was cringy, it was not cringy. That's me trying and doing and growing. That's what it looks like to grow. Like, you go from point A to point B to all the way to point Z. You go from maybe being a little cringy to being really, not cringy. I don't know. But I think if anything, when I look back on past versions of me and I think, wow, she was so cringy, I'm embarrassed by that. That is really just a reflection of how I care too much about what people think about me. I have struggled with perfectionistic tendencies in my life. I have definitely cared far too much about what people think about me, even strangers who don't know me and who I shouldn't put that much stock into what they think about me. The only people I should really care, like, I care what my close family and friends think about me and what God thinks about me. And anything else just needs to fall to the wayside. So I really have nothing to be embarrassed about. And I shouldn't feel like this past version of myself was cringy, because she was just trying and doing her best that she knew to do. And she was sharing her opinions and beliefs for the only way she knew how. And she was doing the thing the only way she knew how, We shouldn't look back on our old selves as cringy and be embarrassed by them. We should be proud of ourselves for how far we've come. Sorry, I was just reading through something that I wrote and wondering if it's pertinent to this conversation or not. I did write something recently, sort of about this, kind of not. I mean, it is kind of about this. I was writing about, yeah, I'm like, do I read all of this? Maybe I'll just put this in the show notes, in the description, if you want to read it. Because it was more just like spur of the moment thoughts that I was having, and it is kind of related to this. I'll read a little part of it. I said, I'm embracing this season that I'm in. I'm embracing this person I am right now at 27 years old. I won't always be this way. Some things will stay the same, but I will continue to evolve from here into newer versions of myself that are more wise, more experienced, more well-lived than I am right now. Excuse me. But I want to embrace me at every stage. Instead of being quiet, instead of shying away from sharing my creations out of fear of it later being cringy, or it being cringy to some people even right now, I just want to be as fully me as I can possibly be. a little strange, a little out of the ordinary, and sometimes a little ordinary too. A little silly, yet sometimes serious too. I want to leave room for nuances within myself and leave room for others to be nuanced, deep and complex and full of contradictions. So, yeah, if you want to read the whole thing, I can include it below and you can read it. That's that. That's that for today. Hallelujah. Don't be ashamed of yourself, and don't be embarrassed of who you were a year ago, 2 years ago. Don't be embarrassed about who you are right now. It's all working out for good, and it's all contributing to who you are becoming and who you will be one day. I mean, hey, I could very well look back at this right now and be like, oh, that was so cringy. But right now I don't feel cringe about it. So that's the thing. Like, leave room for yourself to grow. You will grow and you will change, and some things will stay the same, but you will continue to evolve and mature. But don't be so embarrassed about this past version of yourself who was just trying and doing the thing and learning and growing. You got to love that past version of yourself. All right, I'm going to go finish my espresso and get to work and live my life. And I hope you will do the same. Keep on living, keep on loving. I'll see y'all later.